Can you guys believe I've been homesteading here for over a year by myself? I was thinking about this the other day and I thought now would be a great opportunity to kind of look back and reflect on the last year to year and a half. And it was over the last couple days that I kind of was looking around and was like, oh my God, so much stuff has changed here. And I can't believe that I am even where I am right now. And I also can't believe how much my mindset has changed from last year to now. So this is a great opportunity to do a recap and look back and kind of show you what's changed, what's not changed, and basically what my plans are moving forward. So if you're new to the channel or you're new to Instagram or both, I've been on my own here for just over a year, coming up on a year and a half, and homesteading alone is a lot different than homesteading with somebody. Or actually, you know, to be honest, I don't really know that it's any different because the workload feels pretty much the same, but it is different to a degree because everything falls on my shoulders, mine and the kids' shoulders. I've been living in this house for just about 2 years now, coming up to 2 years in August. I moved from a fully functioning, brand new home, high efficiency everything. I had put in a brand new kitchen that had a 100 square foot island on it. It was perfect for cooking and canning and preserving and everything. The house had air conditioning and I was on 1.9 acres there. I had kind of maximized my potential with that place and I had put in some raised garden beds. The property there was super marshy and wet, so I wasn't really able to do much more than the raised garden beds, and truthfully I had kind of run out of space. So I ended up selling that and moving here 2 years ago. Shortly after I moved here, I removed the person that I had moved here with. I had removed him from my life and my place here, and everything kind of felt like it was up in the air. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. If you circle back to some of the videos from last year, you can see even the way that I'm speaking about this property that I didn't really know what I was doing, and just the significant amount of changes going on in my life right now and with my kids. I really am interested to see where we'll be next year at this time. Maybe we renovate the house and we love it and we stay. I don't think so, but it'll be really interesting to see where I am next year. I had no idea what my plan was. And at one point I wanted to sell this place and get out and start somewhere else and start over. I am a firm believer in what is meant for you will come, and honestly, I know that everything works out the way it's supposed to, and thank God I didn't end up selling this place. Thank God. I can't say that enough. Honestly, I think about it every single day, how happy I am that I did not end up selling this place. Everything here has changed so much in the last year and a half, and when I look around at it, it's actually wild to see how much has changed. The other day I was standing down here with Bailey and the sun was going down. We were having this perfect, most beautiful sunset, honestly, that I've seen in a long time. Bailey was like, Mom, look at this. And I was like, look at what? And she's like, look at all this. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, isn't it crazy that it's ours and we live here? Yes, it is crazy that we live here, and it is crazy that I almost gave this all up. So in celebration of not giving this all up and all the changes that have come, I want to kind of go over everything and circle back to the last year and what it's been looking like. So April is when I officially started my journey on homesteading alone. Now, I've been homesteading for probably about 8 years, a lot more serious in the last 5. And in the last 2 years, I've completely changed everything and put so much of my attention and focus and everything into this lifestyle. Before, it was kind of just like a hobby sort of thing that I did on the side when I was on my days off from work. But this last 2 years has gotten all of my attention, and in the last year and a half, it's basically been my life. The first thing I want to start with is the garden. Last season, I put this garden in myself, so it was all grass here. There was nothing here. I had one small spot that I had garlic in the year before, and that's basically all I was working with. And before the garlic patch, I had nothing here. So when I first moved in, this land had been untouched for several years, probably decades, and the grass was over my head. Everything was a complete disaster here, so I've really had to start from scratch. I put this entire garden in, I sod cut all these plots, I rototillered everything, and I ended up planting directly in the ground last year. This year, I did a complete overhaul of this area. I now have 2 patches side by side. I've got garlic in this one, and as you can see, I've got all my zucchini and stuff in this one. I switched over and I added 10 raised beds. I've got netting on 2 of them. I have a trellis that's on its way right now. I put in 2 potato patches, I put in an herb garden, I put in a sunflower garden, strawberry patch, and I ended up laying 2,000 square feet of weed barrier down on here and mulched the whole thing. I moved between the mulch and the dirt, I think 22 yards total by hand. So with a shovel and a wheelbarrow. Abby helped me a little bit and so did Bailey, but I mean, between all their sports and at that time they were still in school, it was basically just me moving everything by myself. To look at what this area is like now in comparison to last year even, but certainly when I moved here, honestly, it's overwhelming to look at what this area has been transformed into, and not only what it's been transformed into, but as much work as it was, it's still wild to me to think that we did this by ourselves with nobody else, and it's now producing and we're eating out of the garden regularly now. So yeah, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. On top of the garden, I went ahead and put deer netting all the way around the perimeter because I was getting chickens and, well, goats and rabbits and all kinds of stuff actually was coming in here. So far we've had no issues since then. I've had a couple things get stuck in the fence, but the fence is obviously working because they haven't been able to make their way in, which is also part of the reason why everything is now in full bloom, because nothing's in here eating it. That kind of wraps up all the improvements that I've made in the garden and what the garden looks like compared to last year. So now that I'm done in here, I think we should head up and look at some of the other stuff that has changed over the last year. So the chicken tractor I've always had. I've been doing meat birds for I think 3 years now. I want to say this is my 3rd year. Normally I process them at home by myself. However, because I've had to shift into doing everything on my own, I decided I had to start taking things off my plate. So this season I actually started dropping my birds off to get them processed. So I still raise them here and, you know, grow them out here. But when it comes time to process them, I now take them to a local place here and they process the birds for me. Honestly, it's so much easier for me to know that I can just load them up and drop them off, pick them up, they're fully processed, they're plucked, they're broken down if I want them quartered. They come already frozen and vacuum sealed. They put aside the necks, the feet, the organs, anything that you want. And while yes, I do have to pay for it, honestly, the cost that it is for me to take them there and pick them up later saves me much more time and money than me having to dedicate an entire day to processing the birds on my own. So that has been very helpful. That's something major that has changed. And for me, that makes sense so that I can allocate that time that I would normally spend doing that to something else. As you can see behind me, this duck is not having a good day. Her and another hen of mine came out of the bushes 2 weeks ago, and behind them were 18 ducklings following along. So I've had to separate her from the ducklings because they were all free ranging around and they were way too small and getting trampled on by the goats. Now she kind of stands outside and cries. It's actually quite sad. But once they're a little bit bigger, I'll be able to let them out with her and it'll be fine. But for now, they have to stay in here. As you can see inside here, I've got probably close to, oh gosh, I've got to say it's probably close to 100 chicks in there that are between a week and 2 weeks old. And the reason I bring that up is because I've always wanted to continue to expand what I have here. Okay, stop. I've wanted to continue to expand what I have here. I wanted to continue to grow and learn and just continue to add and build on the lifestyle that I have. That was becoming quite difficult in the situation I was in before. We were not aligning on that stuff at all. So I have found in the last year, everything has been ramped up. Everything's been added on. Everything's expanded. Even the amount of chicks and stuff I've been hatching. Okay. All right. And I just find it funny that now that I'm on my own here with just the kids, things seem a lot more manageable, even though everything is way bigger than it was before. Something else that's been added and changed over the last year is this yurt. So I've always wanted to have a store or some sort of structure or something here that I can put all the stuff in that I make. So my soap, my preserves, my jam, I refinish antique furniture, and I just kind of wanted a space that I could put all of it in. Right now I just have a cooler at the end of the driveway, so I can only fit eggs in a handful of jars in there. So the idea is to turn this into a store. And in the meantime, while I've been waiting to get this finished, I've had other thoughts about it and possibly turning it into an Airbnb, to do an Airbnb homestead experience, or to teach classes like soap making or jam making, preserving, canning, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, but the fact that this is here, I look outside sometimes and I truly cannot believe this is here. You know, if you had asked me this a year and a half ago when I was in the situation I was in before, this would not have even been an option. It's crazy to me to see sort of everything that I wanted, everything that I dreamed of having, everything that I ever thought that I wanted to have for my life and for my kids. It's actually unraveling before my eyes in the last year and a half. And it's crazy that I'm standing in this yurt having this conversation with you guys when just a year and a half ago, I was like, I need to get rid of this house. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh. And now I'm standing in this handcrafted, hand-painted yurt from Mongolia, talking about how I'm going to turn it into a store or an Airbnb experience. So it's actually crazy to me that this is here. So the garden has changed, the yurt has been added, and let's head over to the animals and see what's changed over there. I'd love to know how you followed me all the way up here. Well, you beat me up here, and now you're going to be up here making noise. All right, we're up with the animals, and if you're new to the channel, then probably nothing looks any different to you. But last year, I actually ended up downsizing everything. When I first transitioned to being here on my own, I was a little bit overwhelmed with everything. And I mean, prior to that, I was kind of on the way to downsizing stuff just based on the conversations that we were having. We were not aligned on anything. I wanted everything, they wanted nothing. And so I was starting to downsize what I had, and it was horrible. It was the worst. I hated every second of it, parting with some of my animals, rehoming them, and it was terrible. We've definitely expanded on our chickens and our ducks. I have also added back some more goats. So I borrowed a buck earlier this year, I think around April or so, and I put him in with my girls. So they're all bred right now, and so I should be essentially ending up with 4 kids shortly. So the goats themselves have changed just by the sheer volume that I have and their purpose. So I wasn't making goat milk soap before for my website and for the stores, and now I am. So that has definitely changed. As I mentioned, we've got more chickens and more ducks, and I've parted with my cow. And something else that I added was hogs. It's like they knew I was talking about them. So in this area before, I used to have mini American potbelly pigs, and what I did with them was breed them and sell them, and that was it. So they really didn't serve a whole lot of purpose. And once I shifted into being here on my own, I kind of had to look at everything that I had, determine if it was worth keeping and expanding, what was it giving me, and basically what was its purpose. And for the amount of work that it took to breed the mini pigs and then find homes for them, it was too much work, and it wasn't really giving me anything back. It's expensive to raise animals, and when I'm just paying to have them and I'm not getting anything from them, it doesn't really make any sense. So now I've switched over to hogs, and I will be growing these out and processing these for meat. The amount of things now that we're doing on our own here, I've always had a garden, and I've always had chickens, but now, okay, but now to be able to add pork and turkey onto the things we grow for ourselves is pretty cool. So the beef is coming. That's got to be next. When I get the cow, we'll get one for meat and one for dairy, and we'll be all set. Now, when it comes to the manual labor, maintenance, building, and construction of things that are required here on a homestead, I can do some of them, but I cannot do all of them. So while I can build basic things and, fix the fence if something breaks, I don't know how to do things like jack up the coop and put a new floor in it. So my dad was here earlier this year and he helped me jack up the coop, and I should say he helped me, he did it, I helped him. We jacked up the coop, we put a brand new floor in. I just put netting around the bottom so nothing can get in or out underneath there anymore. My brother also did some of the other work that I needed done, so he built the platform for the yurt. And he also did my bathroom renovation. So we ripped out the bathroom upstairs. We took 3 feet off Mason's room. We extended the bathroom, gave it a complete makeover, and now we have a fully functioning bathroom. That is not something that I would have been able to do by myself. So I definitely have help in areas where I need it. My brother and my cousin also waterproofed my basement. So my basement was taking on water. I was up to my ankles in water down there. There was mold on everything. Everything was wet. The smell down there was putrid. And to go down there now in my bare feet on the concrete floor, it is mind-blowing. I never thought that I'd be standing down in that basement in my bare feet. It's crazy. These things that have been done over the last year, I'm lucky to have the people that I have and the people that I know and the family that I have help me with these things, because otherwise I would never be able to do them. And while we're talking about my dad, and my dad has made a very steady appearance on this channel over the last year and a half, and honestly, it's been great. We went up to the cabin, we built an entire new sugar shack. We tapped double the amount of trees that I've ever tapped before. We produced more syrup than I've ever produced before, and it was awesome. We had the best time ever. We tapped all the trees together, we collected the sap together, we boiled it, we bottled it, we did everything together, and it was really cool. Building the sugar shack itself was just a whole experience on its own. To see it finished and then actually use it for production in the spring was incredible. It was so exciting. And now we've got more plans for syrup. And, you know, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when I was in the situation I was in, I wanted to tap 20 trees, and that was not something that we could agree on. So to know now that, you know, my dad enjoys doing that with me, and he's like, yeah, let's tap 200. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's tap 200. Frig, let's tap 500. So, I mean, it's just a complete 180 from what I was doing and experiencing before to what I'm doing and experiencing now. And it's just, yeah, it's incredible. It's crazy to even to think that that was my life a year and a half ago to what it is now. It's crazy. There have been lots of comments on whether my dad's gonna be back on the channel soon. Yes, he is. It's just the busiest time of the year right now. And honestly, the cabin is so hot, and the deer flies and the horse flies and mosquitoes are so bad that we go up there for limited amounts of time during these hot months. But we are going up there shortly because I do need to split wood for the winter. So we will be going up to do that soon. And my dad will make another appearance on the channel. So don't worry, he is coming back. And also next weekend is our family reunion, and I'm hosting it here, and we are doing a pig roast. So you will see my dad there. So stay tuned for that. On top of spending more time with my dad, I've definitely spent more time with my family as a whole. A lot more family get-togethers, a lot more family functions. We've been down at my sister's house quite a bit. We just did Canada Day there. We did Christmas down there. We did Easter down there. I was also able to make it up to my other sister's house, Nicole, the one that I go hunting with. We did some ice fishing. I've been up there a couple times. So many things were able to get done this year that I've never really had time or made time or been able to do. This year has been great. My kids have spent tons of time with their cousins as well, and that has been awesome. Last season was also my very best season for production as far as harvest and preserving and canning and all that kind of stuff goes. I put the most jars on my shelf last year than I have ever before. I got the most amount of honey off my bees. I grew the most in my garden. I put the most chickens and turkeys in the freezer that I've ever done before in a season. Even that in itself is crazy to me, because when I think back to where I was mentally last summer, and even in my videos with you guys talking about, you know, should I sell, should I stay, I don't know what to do, I need to downsize, etc., etc., I still look back and I still put away more food then than I ever have before. So I think subconsciously I knew I wasn't going to sell this place, but it was more so saying it out loud to, I don't know, talk it out with myself, I guess. But I had the best season as far as growing and stuff goes, and this season already I've put away more food now than I had even last year. So constant improving and constant growing and learning and adding, and yeah, it's been crazy. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all gets harvested and preserved this year. On top of canning and putting away chickens and turkeys, I actually filmed hunting season last year. So I've been going hunting with my dad and my sister for honestly forever. But last year was the first year I actually filmed the whole thing, and we had a great season last year. Nicole got 2, my dad got 1, I didn't get any. But on the way to pick up my kids one day, I stumbled upon a deer that had been freshly hit by a car, fully intact, and left on the side of the road. She was still warm when I got there. So picked her up, brought her home, processed her, and she actually kept us going through the whole winter with venison. I just used the last pound of ground venison last week. I've still got, I think, a quarter deer left in the freezer of the one that Nicole got last season. So I've got a little bit left to last us. I mean, even hunting season was amazing last year. Everything has been so great. I truly just can't imagine not having this life. I really can't. On top of all the changes that have happened here, I have met some incredible people in the last year, like specifically probably in the last 6 months or so. And I am a true believer, as I said before, that once you kind of pick a path and you become true to yourself and what you want and the vision that you want and the life that you want, and you actually start making the steps in the direction that you want to go, like, I don't know how else to say it except for ask and you shall receive. You know that saying? Ask and you shall receive. That is literally what has happened in the last year and a half. I've met some of the most incredible people, and not just in my personal life, but even online between people that follow me on Instagram and people on YouTube. The kindness and support, and even just like the mail you guys send me sometimes, the letters I get or packages, I cannot express how much that means to me. It is honestly the kindest things I've ever seen and heard and experienced. As you guys know, in the winter and the fall, I always wear those college and university hoodies and crew neck sweaters. And I actually had somebody send me some from the college and university that they went to, because they know that I like wearing those kind of sweaters. So, I mean, what a thoughtful, heartfelt thing to do. And this is kind of what I was talking about with the people that I've met over the last year and a half. It's just wild to me, the people and the kindness that are out there. And even the people that I've met in my personal life, like, I can't imagine not having known these people. It's weird to me that I didn't know these people before. Thinking about them not being around does not make sense in my mind. Again, the thought of having been teetering between giving this up, so glad that didn't happen. It's been a really good year. So that's pretty much what has been going on here in the last year and a half. I decided to stay. I will never be leaving here. This is my home. I will never sell this place. We're just going to continue to grow and add and expand on it over the years and learn new things. Hopefully we can get the yurt finished up shortly and kind of get things sorted there. I would love to have a cow back soon in this mess of a pasture that's behind me. And I mean, all I can say about this last year and a half of homesteading on my own is, if you've ever thought about doing it, do it. Honestly, just do it. It is a lot of work, but truthfully, it's not as hard as you might think it is. It really comes down to planning, time management, and having a vision and being okay with failing. You have to be okay with failing. You have to be okay with making mistakes, and you have to be okay with not doing everything right the first time. I've got just about 6 acres here, and I do it on my own with my kids. And if I can do this on my own with my kids, anyone can do it on their own with their kids, because I truthfully have no idea what I'm doing most of the time, and we're winging it and it's working. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me for the last year and a half and supporting everything that I do. I really mean that. I really appreciate it. This channel and Instagram wouldn't even exist without you guys. So, I mean, the fact that you show up here week after week after week or day after day on Instagram it's incredible, because there's so many other channels out there and there's so many other pages out there on Instagram, and you guys choose to be involved in mine. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram @_livingdifferent, where you can stay up to date on what I'm doing all the time. I post on there multiple times a day, and Instagram includes completely different content than YouTube does. Don't forget to check out the website, which has grown exponentially in the last year, might I add. www.living-different.com. When you first sign into the website, a little box will pop up to ask you if you want to sign up for a weekly newsletter. The newsletter includes tips, tricks, hacks, and other various ideas about homesteading. You'll also get a recipe on there, something that I use in my kitchen on a regular basis, so I know it's tried, tested, and true, and has good reviews from my kids. That's it for this video though. Thanks for watching. I will see you in 2 weeks at my family reunion that I'm hosting here, and we are having a pig roast. Stay tuned for that. It is going to be crazy. Catch you next week. Bye.